Wow, I can't believe we're already at the end of beta 1.6. We've been cruising through these updates. Have I really been away that long? Well, I suppose I better sort this out. Oh, that was exhausting, but look how much better it looks. Anyway, it's starting to get late, so I might as well head in and have a nice little rest. Oh, but I should check the mailbox while I'm here. Sky's Land of Pizza. Sweet dreams. Okay. Well, don't know what any of that means. But I reckon it's time for a sleep. Hard work is exhausting, but this bed looks so comfy. I'm looking forward to a nice little sleep. Oh, I forgot to put these things away. Oh well, I'll just throw them here and leave them till later. What? What just happened? My bed's turned blue. Oh, I don't have time to investigate this now. I need to go to sleep. Oh well, I'll try and figure it out in the morning. Good night. No, I don't want to go. No. Skylands. Oh, what a weird dream. Wait. This is the place I was dreaming about. Where am I? Welcome back everybody to another episode of Minecraft The Journey. I think. With me, bugmancx. I think. And this isn't what I expected to wake up to today. But we better start investigating to find out exactly what's going on. I have a feeling that Notch might be playing a prank on us. I'm not even sure. Time to start researching. So, where are we exactly? Well, we're in the Skylands. Back in 2011, Notch was entertaining the idea of introducing a new dimension, something to act as a counterbalance to the Nether. So, if you think of the Nether as being perhaps somewhere deep beneath the overworld dimension, then the idea of the Skylands is that it's a dimension up in the sky, made up of floating islands. And we can see this if we peer over the edge and look down. We're clearly way up in the sky, and we can even see the clouds beneath us. But what we're looking at is just a prototype that Notch began working on a couple of weeks prior to the beta 1.6 release. He included the code that generates this terrain in beta 1.6, but never included a way to access it. It was never intended to be accessed. In order to make the game generate this terrain type, I've had to modify the game's source code slightly in order to force it to generate this terrain. But let's take a look at some of the timelines surrounding this so that we can get an idea about what was going on around this time. The first official hint that Notch was working on the Skylands was from a tweet. On May 18th, 2011, Notch posted to Twitter, "I spent a lot of time today trying to add a floating island dimension. It did not go well. Performs well, looks ugly." A few people asked for some more information or some screenshots, and Notch said that he'd left the office and gone home for the day, but he would post some tomorrow. And he did. The following day, Notch tweeted some pictures out confirming its existence officially. Some pics of the sky dimension thing I was working on last night. PC Gamer quickly picked up on this and tweeted out about it, with Notch replying, "Lol." And because PC Gamer made such a big deal of the sky dimension, I guess I'll have to finish it. Consider it confirmed. And so there we go. The sky dimension at this point was relatively confirmed as a feature that would be included into the game. But all of this was taking place a couple of weeks prior to the beta 1.6 release, and although this feature would never be ready in time for beta 1.6, the concept code that Notch had been working on for this early prototype was included in that release, but there was no way to access it in the game. But Minecraft's players are smarter than you think, and a modder by the name of 303 had discovered a way to modify a couple of lines of one of Minecraft's Java class files in order to force it to generate the Skylands terrain, and that's what I'm using here. Once this was posted to the forums, everyone had a chance to check it out for themselves. But 303 didn't leave their patch up for very long, but since the method was now known, it didn't take long for other people to release mods of their own, allowing people access to the Skylands. A short while after releasing these screenshots, Notch was interviewed in a live webcast by Fiber.se, a Swedish gaming website. And in that interview, Notch described the Skylands dimension as being probably a dream world, and when you go to bed, there's a certain chance that you get teleported into the dream world instead. Then you would be able to do it on purpose later on. So for this episode's intro, I wanted to recreate for myself what I imagined that experience might have been like for a player, even if this never quite came to be. I used Notch's description as my inspiration for that, imagining myself going to sleep, but in my case, it was using a blue bed, and then falling asleep and dreaming, and then waking up in this dimension, completely to my own surprise. And if the Skylands had been implemented for real, players would have woken up here. Notch had the idea that once the player had experienced the Skylands for the very first time, they would be able to get back to it on purpose somehow later on. For me, that's what I imagine the blue bed could represent, a way of going to sleep in a slightly different way to return to the Skylands. But once you're up here, how would you get back? I have no idea. But anyway, all of this is theoretical, since this was only ever a prototype and never got implemented formally into the game. But while we're here, let's explore this place a bit. Look at this terrain. Imagine just waking up here one morning, not ever having seen this before and thinking, what on earth? Where on earth am I? Or maybe where above earth am I? Now, I'm going to see if it's possible for us to survive up here. And I think the resources are quite limited. Thankfully, we have trees and things like that, so I should be able to craft up tools and whatnot, all of the things that I need. But I do have some concerns. In my little wandering around of this area from before, I noticed that the only animal I've seen so far is a chicken. Or I should say, chickens. They seem to be the only thing that spawn up here, and that's a bit of a worry because in Minecraft Beta, the only food sources, at least that I'm aware of, are bread and pork. And to get pork, we need pigs, and I haven't seen any pigs. And to get bread, well, we need seeds. And what is interesting, if we have a look over here at the grass, is that in Beta 1.6, the new tall grass was added to the game, but for some reason it's not included here. So perhaps there's going to be a way for us to obtain that. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe there are dungeons. I don't know. I really don't know. All right, so let's get established. Maybe we need to find a place for a bit of a base of operations, somewhere with a view. This place over here seems to have a bit of a nice view, doesn't it? You got that bit and that bit. You know what else? I wonder how you get from place to place. At the moment, you can't fly. You can only walk. So in order to get from here to there or there to there, you have to bridge across. And have a look at that, okay? So there's a little bit of water going down and it's hit the edge here and then it's dropped down and reached the cloud layer and then it's just stopped. So I presume that that's the equivalent of the void. I don't know. Okay, step one, we need to create ourselves a crafting table. Boom, there we go, done. Now, the first thing we can do obviously here is create a stick and then we will, I haven't got enough planks, craft ourselves a pickaxe. And just like normal with survival, the first thing we do is dig down, try and find some stone. Should be down here. Maybe. Come on, let's not wear down the pickaxe. Okay, here we go. Here's some stone, and we'll upgrade our pickaxe to a stone one, and then that should be enough. That should be good to go. That should give us... Oh, there we go. That should give us enough... where are we? Enough durability to allow us to start mining and everything. Oh yes, my achievements have reset themselves somewhere along the way. That's just, one of the wonderful side effects of Minecraft Beta. All right, now I think it's time to hunt down... Oh, there's a cave. Can we get to the cave? I want to explore a cave. Food. Like I said. Oh, a pumpkin. Can't eat a pumpkin. I mean, look, there's food right in front of me here and I can't even eat it. Come on, Minecraft. You can do better than this. All right, let's head down to that cave. I've made it down and I have to be exceptionally careful about taking damage because I have no way of recovering my health at the moment, at least not until we figure out this food situation. Now have a look at this. This is a good sign. The fact that iron is generating up here is very handy because the first thing I'm probably going to do is upgrade this stone pick and get ourselves an iron pick or something like that. I don't think there's anything else we need iron for at this stage. I think I saw, yes, I saw some coal up here as well. Ooh, okay, I thought it was a drop maybe down into the void or something. One piece of coal, are you kidding me? There must be more coal around. Look at this. This is quite a nice little area. Can I get down safely without taking damage? This is really the... Ooh. This is really the most annoying thing about being up here in the Skylands. Yeah, this is quite nice, isn't it? You've got a nice view over there, and I see a chicken has spawned in. 2 chickens, in fact. But unfortunately, you just don't give me any food, so what good are you? Oh! I almost thought I dropped to my death. Wow, that was intense. Like I said, I've got to be super careful about fall damage, and this sort of thing, that just does not help. Thank you very much. I was just admiring the view here because I was thinking that over here we have this view of the island above the clouds, and then I turned around and had a look up here and I thought, you know, that's quite a nice natural hillside going into a little underhang there with a weird island floaty bit coming out. Anyway, I've been doing a little bit of digging here. I've got my iron smelting, although I'm running out of resources. I don't want to use the coal at the moment because I do want to create some torches, but what I need to do is cut down more of these trees and then regrow some because my wood supply at the moment is pretty terrible. Well, I haven't wandered too far just yet, but I have collected some resources. I've got a bit of extra iron, some saplings now, some flowers just for fun, and a little bit of extra coal. And then as I was heading back down here to where our base is, I had an epiphany about our food situation. You may be able to see it right up there in front of us. Mushrooms, of course, we can make mushroom stew as long as we have the 2 types of mushrooms, and right now we have access to the brown one. So all I've got to do is continue to grow these mushrooms and then I can build up a pretty good supply of food. Of course, it'll be like emergency rations because we still do not want to take any damage at all. And I need to find some red ones. Maybe there'll be some in a cave, I don't know. So we're definitely going to have to go hunting and see if we can find some of those. I've been wandering around the general area here, peeking in all of the little dark crevices, trying to find some red mushrooms, because if I can find them, I can get both the brown and the red growing and get myself some food stores. And I'm just looking around thinking how interesting this place is to navigate, because if I want to get from here to there, obviously I can't cross over here, so I need to figure out how to get all the way around up here and over and then way over onto the other side. Obviously I could bridge across, but at the moment I don't want to make the terrain all look horrible and full of my little 1 block wide bridges. I'd rather just keep it looking mysterious and majestic as it does right now. Red mushrooms. That looks just so incredible in here. Look at that. There's just this mysterious fog. Of course, Minecraft does have that fog, but just the way that the world terrain here works makes that look, ooh, taking a few risks here in the dark, makes this look all the more majestic, I reckon. And it's the brightness of the sky down beneath us. Ooh. Does that mean we're above a cave? I don't know. It's the brightness of the sky in this hole down here, shining upwards and lighting up this cavern thing ever so gently. Anyway, I'd better get out of here. So a couple of other observations that I have made about the Skylands so far. Let me just get myself out of here. Ooh, taking risks left, right, and center. Look at me. A couple of things I've noticed about the Skylands so far. Okay, first, let's have a look at the actual sky above our heads. There's the sun. It's eternally midday. The sun does not move, therefore there is no night. If there's no night, then no mobs spawn. But I've also noticed that no mobs spawn anyway. So this is supposed to be a peaceful environment, not very hostile, and that explains why there are no hostile mobs. But without hostile mobs, I don't have access to things like bones for bone meal or anything like that. So actually, it doesn't make for a very useful environment without access to those things. But let's not forget, this was just a terrain prototype, so it wasn't fully formed. If it had been completed, it might have contained different mobs, different blocks, different plants, who knows? I thought it was interesting that this isn't the first time that Minecraft's seen floating islands. Back in InDev, there was a terrain generation option that let you generate a world type based on floating islands, and it wasn't too different to this really, just that this is a little way on from that. I'm not sure what inspired Notch back in InDev to make the floating islands, and to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what inspired him to make them again for the Skylands during Minecraft Beta. But I will say that this wasn't the only idea like this going on within the Minecraft community around this time. Since my series Minecraft The Journey is following along the story of Minecraft's vanilla gameplay development, I don't really go into the modding side of things too much, but I thought it was important to point out that for more than 6 months before Beta 1.6 had even come out, former modder, now Mojang employee King BDogs, had been working on his own project called the Ether mod, probably one of the biggest and most successful mods of its time, certainly of all time. And around this time, it was almost ready for its first public release. The Ether would add a new dimension that was originally inspired by the idea of the Nether, where the Nether exists like carved out spaces within a solid realm, buried somewhere beneath the overworld. The Ether dimension is above the clouds and made up of large solid areas within an empty void. The end result being something not too different from what we see here, a dimension in the sky made up of floating islands. Sounds familiar, right? So, was Notch's idea behind the Skylands inspired by the Ether mod? I don't know. But while the Ether mod was publicly released on July 22nd, 2011, a couple of days later, Notch tweeted, "I haven't tried the Ether mod because I don't play mods, but a lot of people are saying it's awesome, so go check it out." I guess you could draw your own conclusions from all of that. Well, this was sort of unexpected to me. I didn't quite expect to find a lava pool. This is pretty fascinating though, because it makes me feel like I'm deep, deep, deep underground. But in fact, have a look over here. I'm not deep underground at all. In fact, I'm here way up in the sky. So this is just such a strange combination of... It makes me feel like the world is upside down. Oh, this was a silly mistake. Oh no. I didn't have enough torches on me and I'd run out of wood. I should have gotten more torches. You know, it was funny. I was just digging up there. I was going to escape this cave and I thought, betcha some gravel falls on my head, but nah, I'll risk it. But look at that. I've lost 3 hearts and I don't have any food. What was I thinking? Well, I honestly can't believe I took damage like that. No, let's face it, I can believe it. But I've made it back here to home base and I'm pleased to see that a couple of trees have grown and I think I've had enough survival for one day. But I just wanted to let you know that I have planted the brown mushrooms in here. Hopefully they'll grow soon, but it's a pretty slow process. And I wasn't able to find any red mushrooms, but it got me to thinking, you know, it is possible to find red mushrooms out here in the Skylands if you just keep hunting around. But there are some other things that it's also possible to find. It's just very difficult. One of which is diamonds. It is possible to find diamonds in the world if you just hunt around and you'll eventually find them, but I don't know exactly how rare they are. I just know that they are quite rare. And with diamonds, of course, we should be able to craft up a diamond pick. And with a diamond pick, we can get ourselves obsidian because we saw several lava sources and a little lava lake in one of the caves back there. So it is certainly possible to get obsidian. And once we have obsidian, I think we should be able to access the Nether, right? So if I get myself an iron ingot and a flint, we can make a flint and steel like that. And let's craft ourselves a Nether portal. Alright, so let's make sure I don't mess this up, as I'm prone to doing that from time to time. It happens. Let's make sure that that's the right shape. Yep, that's good enough. Now I'm too short. I'm too short. I jumped off too soon. Okay, there we go, across the top. Perfect. Alright, let's light this thing up. Now from here, I imagine we should just be able to reach the Nether, no problem. Here we are, here we are. Oh, there's so much lava here. Here's another source of lava. Oh, this is a bit of a precarious position, isn't it? But as we know from the Nether, if I were to explore the Nether just a little bit, I would eventually find myself some red mushrooms. There's some brown ones over there, and there are probably some red ones around. But the other thing that's interesting about the Nether is that the zombie pigmen will actually drop cooked flesh if they are killed while they're on fire. And I didn't bring myself a... Hey, why aren't you burning? I didn't bring myself a sword, and I should have, so we're just going to see if I can kill him without him killing me. Come on, come on. And look at that. We got ourselves a cooked pork chop. So, ooh, oh dear. So we could actually build ourselves a zombie pigman farm and get ourselves all the cooked pork chops we need. I need to get back before that thing kills me. I have returned, and I'm here with my noisy nether portal, and one thing that I wanted to explore up here was maps. And it is possible for us to craft a map, because it is possible for us to find iron, it's possible for us to find redstone, and it's also possible for us to find sugar canes, although these things are also very, very rare. But of course, once we have them, we can craft up some paper. In fact, I'll need quite a bit more than that. Not quite that much, but that's all I need. And a compass, of course, redstone and iron, which are both obtainable. So if I take my paper and put that in the crafting grid like so, and take my compass and put it here, we get ourselves a map. Now, I'm keen to see what the map looks like. So let's just head over here and bring up the map in front of us. Oh, what's that? White stuff. Is that snow? The white stuff must be snow. Okay, let's move around here for a little bit and see if we can map this area out just a little bit. There's no cursor on this map, so does that mean that it has no idea where we are? Is the map increasing? Let me turn off that annoying view bobbing. It's a little bit easier to see the map on camera like this. It looks to me as though that map... Oh, there we go. It's generating. Let me just... how are we going to do this? I don't want to die. One moment. I think I've done a full loop of this island now because I wasn't expecting to come back here to my own nether portal. But anyway, it has been actually quite difficult to do the mapping for a couple of reasons. Let's have a look and I'll show you what's going on. First, you might notice that wherever the void is, it's completely transparent. Actually, I think that looks really cool and it's kind of accurate. It's kind of true to what it is. There's nothing there, so there's nothing showing on the map. But have you noticed that there's no cursor? So this map has no way of telling me where I am, and I kind of have to figure it out on my own, either by looking at the terrain or by watching new areas of the map come in whenever I move into an unmapped area. So it's really quite difficult to use the map in a practical sense. One of the other things that I wanted to point out is that I did find some red mushrooms while I was out there on my expedition, so there's some proof that it is possible to find them, just as it is for sugarcane, although I wasn't able to find any on my particular journey. Alright, last but not least, before we finish up here in the Skylands, is I want to jump into the void. I want to go home. I want to see if we can return back to the world from which we came. And before we do that, I just want to hit F3 and have a look at our Y level, because notice that we're at Y level 69, so it's not like we're way up in the sky at, say, level 200 or something like that. In reality, we're at the normal Y level that we would be if we were in the overworld. It's just that the game has moved the clouds down lower and changed the world terrain generation to be like this. I also did mention something about biomes earlier, but actually the only biome which I've seen is a plains biome, and that is because the only biome that generates up here is the plains biome, so you don't get access to spruce trees or anything else like that, unfortunately. Alright, let's finish up our time here in the Skylands. Hello, cloud. Let's go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Geronimo! Goodbye, Skylands. Ah, it's so good to be home, and look at this. My red bed is restored. But we're not exactly home, exactly, because I decided to leave the Skylands mod in place, so technically we're back in our previously generated terrain, but with the Skylands activated. So as you can see, there are no clouds in the sky, because right now the clouds are going to be way down beneath us. And everything also looks a little bit different around here because the biome has changed, because there's only one biome at the moment, which is the plains biome. All the colors to me look really, really off. It's really actually quite strange. But what I want to do is just go for a walk and generate new chunks. I want to see exactly what happens when we have our existing world terrain here. Oh, I forgot about these. More red mushrooms than I know what to do with. I just want to take a walk in that direction and get to a place where there's new world terrain, new chunks, and see what happens. Here it is. Here it is. I just came out of one of my portals and head... Wow. Wow. I head approximately in a straight line, and this is surreal. Oh, this is fantastic. Look at that. Wow, there's just a massive slice taken out of the side of the world here. Or it feels like that anyway. The water just stops. This must have been the last set of chunks that were ever generated in this area. And then over here we have Skylands. Is that a tree growing out of a cloud? I don't know what's going on. But what I want to do is try and traverse in here for a little bit and generate enough area where we can't see this chunk border anymore, so that we can have our own little area of the Skylands whenever we want. But the one thing about this particular Skylands is that it won't be as accurate as it was in the actual Skylands for a couple of reasons. One, at the moment, like I said, the only biome is the plains biome, and that's why every biome, even existing biomes, are all just rendering as if they were plains biomes. And the second reason is because of the clouds and the weather system and the fact that only chickens spawn, all of that sort of stuff, all of those behaviors will be lost as soon as we make our way into, as soon as we turn off the Skylands modifications. One of the interesting things is that I didn't bring any food with me, and I don't have any blocks, and wow. And I really just need some food in order to survive, because I can take fall damage just like before. But it's okay. We'll just press on and see what happens. And then once we've cleared some of this area and got some distance into the actual Skylands here, I'm going to go back to the regular Minecraft beta 1.6.6 and see if we can see the difference. I soon realized it wasn't the best idea coming out here without any blocks, so I threw myself into the void and then went back to the base and got a bunch of different blocks, and I have been bridging across from place to place around here trying to find a nice little island which has good views, and I think that this is the one. So from up here you get quite a good view of different islands all around you, and it really gives you the feel that you're in the Skylands. And I actually had to come in quite far because the original area after you go over the chunk border was not very appealing, not very attractive, and so this is probably the best that I'm going to be able to get. Now, I'm generating a lot of chunks here, but that's okay. The borders of this island will be the maximum that I'm going to actually generate within this world. Wow, look at that. I have actually generated a fair few chunks out here. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close out of this world, out of this version, and then move back to the proper version, the unmodified version of beta 1.6.6. And here we are, the world is loading in around me. Does it look different? It definitely looks different to me. Look, it's just going sunset. This is not a good time to be checking out the world, but look down here, the color of the void is different. It's now a dark blue. We have our clouds back in the sky again. We have our day-night cycle back, and I'm sure we'll get all of the proper mobs spawning as well relatively shortly. Look, you can see ice is forming over there. So we definitely have a Skylands, but it certainly isn't the Skylands. But, you know, it's as close as we're able to get within the game's parameters as we have them at the moment. But for now, that's going to be the end of today's episode. So as we watch the sun set over the void, I want to say thank you for watching, and I want to say an extra special thank you to my amazing patrons. Hopefully by the next episode we should be back to normal. So, until then, this has been bugmancx. You've been watching Minecraft The Journey. Bye bye.